earned an 8-year contract in Seattle. A 5-8 season has been sobering, though his star Running Waters heads for another 1,000-yard season. In Denver, another Super Bowl Mike Shanahan, back-to-back titles in Elway's last 2 years. With star starters Brian Greasy and Terrell Davis sidelined, he's plugged journeyman Gus Frerotte into the system at quarterback. And record-setting rookie Mike Anderson at tailback. The Broncos are Super Bowl serious again. No kidding. The usual sellout, 76,000 at Mile High Stadium to see Seattle and Denver in the AFC West. And here are the standings. Denver with 2 wins over Oakland and trail the Raiders by only 1. And the Seahawks playing their best ball of the year. They've won 3 of the last 4. Hello, everyone. This spirit of the season, sentiment and joy. Sentimental. Mile High Stadium, we're in its final days, this great football arena. And for joy, how about a 5-game winning streak, Dan Deerdorf, and a 27-year-old rookie?
How much fun is it to watch Mike Anderson run the football, to see what he has accomplished? 251 yards last week against New Orleans. The last time they played Seattle 2 weeks ago, Dick, he ran for 195. No surprise, though, for the Seahawks, who their leading rusher is. It's Ricky Watters with 950 yards. Dick, if he gets 50, that's 6 consecutive years at 1,000 or more.
He's already 13th best all-time in the NFL. Down on the field, Bonnie Bernstein.
Hi, guys. Mike Shanahan, 2 weeks ago, you beat Seattle with big plays, but you also gave up 5 turnovers. How critical is the battle of the turnovers today?
Well, usually when you turn the ball over that many times, you don't win a football game, especially with 2 of those turnovers, giving them touchdowns. So hopefully we can eliminate some of those mistakes today.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Okay. Dick?
Thank you, Bonnie. Now look at the weather and wintry conditions. 21 degrees here in the Mile High City. The wind chill is 6 degrees, and there's a 60% chance we're going to see snow before the game's end. Seattle won the toss, and kick it off for the Seahawks is Steve Lindsay, picked up by the Broncos when Jason Elam fractured a couple small bones in his back in the second game of the season. Deep to return is Charlie Rogers, one of the best in the league. Rogers 2 yards deep. He's coming out anyway and doesn't quite get it to the 20-yard line. Oh, Seattle puts it in play, and on comes quarterback Jon Kitna. Already a little pushing and shoving between these AFC rivals who battle to a 38-31 Denver decision up in the great Northwest. Kitna, 13 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. When he's good, he's very good, but he's had some bad games as well. Seattle starts from its 19-yard line. You see there in the 5 wins, he's posted outstanding numbers. And he comes out throwing. Lots of time underneath, complete to Ricky Watters. Watters, who had a field day catching the ball in the first game against Denver, tackled at the 25-yard line by John Mobley. The Seahawks offensively up front line up this way to start. Jones, Kendall, Gray, Wetterbrun, and the rookie from Wisconsin, Chris McIntosh. Ricky Watters, another solid season. Max Strong is the blocker, Dawkins and Mays the wide receivers, and Christian Foria at tight end. 2nd and 4. Kitna across the middle, incomplete through the hands of Darrell Jackson, and almost an interception. Trevor Price applying the pressure for the Broncos, and here they are defensively with Tanuvasa trailer. Price has 11 sacks inside. That's Pro Bowl credentials. Kavika Pittman, the former Cowboy. Linebackers Mobley, Wilson, and the veteran Bill Romanowski. At the corners, Spencer and Terrell Buckley, Brown and Jenkins the safety. Mike Holmgren in his 2nd season in Seattle, building this Seahawk franchise, understands there's some holes in the lineup. Give inside to Watters, breaking tackles, and out to a first down near the 34-yard line before he's stripped up by Romanowski.
Anytime you play the Denver Broncos here at Mile High Stadium, so important to not do a 3-and-out on the first series and get this crowd instantly into the football game. That was well done by Pete Kendall, Walter Jones over on the left side. There's a good look at Bill Romanowski, who's been doing that for 13 years in this league. But get off to just a consistent start. Don't get in a hole early.
Kitna screen, and Waters was well covered as two Broncos drawn to number 32, and a flag goes down back where Kitna threw the ball.
He wasn't outside that tight end pocket. Keith Traylor, I think, was the defensive lineman that was all over that. Phil Luckett, our referee, all over this one.
Well, the screen pass was such an effective weapon for Seattle in the first game between these two teams, and obviously Denver's been working on defending that particular play.
Intentional grounding, offense, number 7. The penalty is a loss of down at the spot of the foul, which makes it second down.
Usually don't see that call on a screen pass.
Well, when he made it so intentional, Dick, I think he was just so flagrant in the way he threw it away. He's going to throw it basically right into the ground. You know, you could, yes, there's a receiver nearby, but the overriding factor was, are you throwing the football away? And I just think that Jon Kitna was not discreet in how he threw that ball away.
That's Kitna, who played his college football at Central Washington, an NAI school in Ellensburg, gives it to Waters, and Waters draws a Bronco crowd led by John Mobley, the 5-year backer from Kutztown State. Mobley back from a serious knee injury and leading the Broncos in tackles this year.
But John is working to overcome right now. You can see his right hand. He's got a thumb injury, and he's carrying a pretty good cast there. And, you know, you look at that thing, and in one aspect, it looks like a heck of a weapon. You could wrap somebody upside the helmet with that, and I'm sure make them see stars. But it's not a help when it comes to making tackles. You need all your hands, all your fingers, rather.
3rd and 21. And the throw underneath complete to Sean Dawkins, and Dawkins run out of bounds far short of the first down, out at the 34 by Terrell Buckley, and on come the kicking teams. Oh, Kitna gets 1 first down. The penalty on the intentional grounding, creating the stall by the Seahawks offense, and on to punt it is Jeff Feagles, who has some very impressive net numbers, nearly 38 yards net average, best in the league. They don't return many. He kicks it very high, and he's a good kicker to the sidelines.
Well, Seattle has struggled, Dick, both offensively and defensively. If those two units would play up to the level of their special teams, that 5-8 record of theirs would be a winning one.
Now they're set to rewind it. Deep to return is Deltha O'Neal, the rookie from California. He's back at the 23-yard line. This is O'Neal at the 28. And meets some heavy resistance at the 37-yard line. Jean-Philippe Darche, the snapper, made the tackle.
Look how under control he is, how calm and mild-mannered.
Whoops.
Still discussing the intentional grounding call against Jon Kitna.
Broncos put it in play from their 37, and Gus Frerotte incomplete through the hands of Rod Smith, with Willie Williams on the coverage. Frerotte in a 1-year contract, picked up as an unrestricted free agent. 7-7 his numbers, touchdowns to interceptions, and set a team record. You know, we think about John Elway. Frerotte a couple of weeks ago against San Diego, 462 yards to establish a Bronco high mark. Oh, look at this, an empty backfield on the second scrimmage play. Frerotte gets it off, intercepted. Jay Bellamy to the 32-yard line, and the Seahawks, who had 5 turnovers in the first game against Denver, come up with an early one today. It is the 4th of the season for Bellamy, the 7-year safety from Rutgers.
Well, he's playing center field all the way, and Frotte's going to try to force this into Ed McCaffrey. There at the top of your screen, Bellamy just look, he gets about a 4-yard running head start. And that pass telegraphed all the way by Gus Frerotte. So a little bit of a watch from the left here. Here comes Bellamy. He read that ball 5 yards before it ever got to Ed McCaffrey. That was well done, and here early on it's Denver behind the 8 ball.
And Waters takes the handoff, and he is smothered after a yard gain. The Seahawks had 2 fumble recoveries, 4 touchdowns in game 1 that went to 31-31 before Mike Anderson ripped off an 80-yard touchdown run late in the game to win it up at Seattle. There's Bellamy, the man who gives the Seahawks a chance for the early lead.
Well, you knew Denver was going to come out and do something tricky early with that formation. A tricky formation, but a pretty mundane response.
Waters on 2nd and long. Turns the corner and then takes a good wallop from Eric Brown, the safety from Mississippi State. Shy of the 25-yard line and holding against Seattle, and that won't please the digestive system of Mr. Mike Holmgren either. I think this is a penalty they will take, the Broncos.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard pivot, repeat. 2nd down.
Walter Jones, the veteran left tackle, a Pro Bowler a year ago. Holmgren now 52, a former high school quarterback star in the San Francisco area. Went to Southern California, where he threw only a handful of passes, never could quite overcome all the great talent ahead of him with the Trojans, and they attend to an injured Seahawk on the sidelines. Obviously we can't see the number. And Jay Bellamy, the man who intercepted the ball, perhaps cramping up. Kitna down the middle, complete. And Sean Dawkins is to the 25-yard line and very close to the first down. They're going to mark it at the 24, a yard and a half shy.
Well, lost in all the offensive fireworks of the Denver Broncos is that this is a pretty porous pass defense. And if you get good protection and you get a good look downfield, you're going to find open receivers. This is a 30th ranked passing unit in the National Football League, next to last. A very able defensive coordinator in Greg Robinson, but these guys have given up lots of yards through the air.
Sean Alexander, the rookie from Alabama, #1 pick of the Seahawks. He's got room outside to the 10 and dragged down and out of bounds at the 8-yard line. 1st and goal for Seattle. Eric Brown able to get him off the field of play.
Well, the Denver Broncos, a prohibitive favorite in this game, and I don't think a lot of people here in the Denver area really took the Seahawks very seriously. Boy, look at that wonderful block out at the point. And this is a relatively easy break of containment here for Alexander and the Seahawks. And things are a little quiet here at Mile High right now.
1st and goal, 8-yard line. Waters back in. Kitna to throw. And he throws it away. Mark Strong, the fullback, was in the flat. Max Strong, who played his ball at Georgia and gets a chance to catch a few passes. He's only carried twice, but 18 receptions. Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator for the Broncos.
Yeah, this is Greg's 6th year as coordinator of this team.
That's an amazing, despite the fact they've given up a lot of points. They averaged 26 points allowed a game, yet in the red zone have denied teams 14 times. No points.
That's by forcing turnovers.
To the 5-yard line goes Waters, and 3rd and goal from there is Tanuvasa and company with the tackle. Walter Payton, the great Payton, 170 consecutive starts as a running back. That's just unbelievable. But Waters, 2nd best all time.
And Ricky had to really work to start today's game. He re-aggravated a toe injury that he had earlier in the season last week. He didn't practice at all this week. But Ricky Waters, as usual, starts.
Not only an outstanding runner, but a top receiver. The throw, Dawkins incomplete. Overthrown, and that'll bring on the field goal unit for Mike Holmgren and Ryan Lindell.
Well, trying to run that fade into the corner of the end zone with Dawkins, who's 6'4", and of course, you know he's got the advantage anytime it comes to a jump ball situation over Jimmy Spencer, who's 5'9". But that throw from Kitna, no chance whatsoever.
Lindell, the rookie from Washington State, is 11 for 13. He's made 8 out of 9 from 40 yards or more. Not bad for the free agent pickup.
Guys got to work in this system.
And he knocks it through easily, and the Seahawks strike first thanks to Jay Bellamy's interception. The Hawks 3, the Broncos nothing. West, fresh snow and
well, it may look like that before this game is over right here. There is a major storm supposed to hit the Denver area here within an hour or so, and with high winds and snow. So we'll be on the look for it. This may not be what it looks like here in the fourth quarter.
Delta O'Neal, the rookie at the other end, he turned 187 yards for a touchdown earlier against New England. And he's out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. And with it a timeout. 8:56 left. Opening quarter. Seattle with the early field goal lead. And welcome back to Denver. Gus Frerotte ducks his head in the huddle. Mike Anderson in there with him. Anderson feature on NFL Today. Marcus Allen, what a story it is. And he gets his first carry. No, he doesn't. A flag before the snap. Well, it gives us a chance to talk about Anderson, who's 6 feet and 230. Played his college ball at Utah, as you may have seen. 4 years in United.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 76. It's a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Back to Anderson, 4 years in the U.S. Marines. He told us yesterday that he went 11 years without playing organized football, from a kid in Pop Warner all the way to his 3rd year as a Marine. And here he is, a star as a rookie with the Broncos.
Got fresh legs.
Here he is, following his blockers and drawing a crowd at the 29-yard line. Kuntz and Parker in on the stop. Here are the Broncos starting lineup. The smallest line in the league, the only line averaging under 300 pounds, 287. Jones, Friedman, Nalen, maybe the Broncos' best player, Nalen, Neal, and Lepsis. Mike Anderson, we've talked about him. Howard Griffith, the human plow, is the blockers. Smith and McCaffrey, both with 80 catches or more and over 1,000 yards. And the tight end is Dwayne Carswell. Desmond Clark is in there as well on this play. Empty backfield. 2nd and long. Frerotte out of the backfield, complete to Smith, and he has a first down at the 44-yard line with his 82nd catch of the season.
Now just a shallow crossing pattern this time for Rod Smith. Locked up in coverage, in man coverage, unfortunately, Anthony Simmons, and he gets picked off. A pretty effective pick in the middle of the field. Oh, what an accident. We didn't mean for that to happen.
You saw Ed McCaffrey, the other wide receiver, out there blocking for him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sean Springs, who made the tackle, said the Broncos wide receivers are the best blocking group in the league. Anderson hitting the backfield. They can't bring him down, and he fights forward to the 48-yard line, a gain of 4 against the white jerseyed Seahawks that line up defensively this way. Boy, they just have not been able to stop the run. Sinclair, Parker, 8-time Pro Bowler Cortez Kennedy, and offseason Lamar King, promising rookie. Simmons, Coons, and Brown are the backers. And the back 4, Sean Springs and Willie Williams at the corners. Bellamy out with the injury. And Kerry Joseph, the other safety, Reggie Tongue, has replaced Bellamy. On 2nd down and 6, that's McCaffrey in motion. Frerotte. How did they not get him? He's able to dive forward to the 50-yard line. A pickup of 2 before the veteran Coons, who played for Holmgren at Green Bay, made the tackle. Lamar King was the man who flushed him out.
Well, this is Lamar King right there. You're looking at him, number 92. He's going to go around the corner. And at this time, you know, Gus steps up. Here comes King. He kind of slips. And it looks like he's got a sack for sure, because Gus Frerotte has no idea that the 2nd-year player's right behind him. But somehow he gets away. That's one of those, boy, you're just kicking yourself right now. I was so close to a sack. I should have had it. Should have, could have, would have.
I like that one. Put that one down.
Pretty good year so far for King. He's got a half a dozen, nearly had 7.
You could see that Denver had sent in substitutes with only 12 on the play clock, so they can't get one off and spend their first timeout. A couple of hours from Vail, over 6 feet of snow. Early conditions for skiing here in the Colorado mountains. Lance Yardsale Barrow is going to be attacking them shortly, we understand. Watch out, folks. Our producer is on the way. 3rd down and 4. Incomplete underneath to the tight end Desmond Clark, and well defended, as that would have been a first down. Sean Springs, talented corner, got his hand in there.
Boy, that was outstanding coverage by Springs. Clark has a fractured forearm, you see that, and that's exactly where the ball hit him. The ball hit him right on that cast that he's wearing on his right forearm. Talk about making it difficult to catch. He's going to have to grab everything with his hands, because anytime the football hits that cast, it's going to carry him right off of there, just like that.
Charlie Rogers back to return for Seattle, averaging almost 15 a return. A flag down. The ball is in the end zone for the touchback, and now the penalty flag back at the Denver 47. Phil Luckett, our referee, holding against the Broncos. Will Seattle make them kick again, or will they take the touchback at the 20-yard line?
You'd think they'd take the touchback and not run the risk of getting pinned back inside their 20. I think this is pretty much of a no-brainer here.
Holding, kicking team, number 55. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchback. First down.
So we have a timeout here at Mile High. Just under 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
Escape to a better place. Sony Vega.
Now at Zales, you'll find this dazzling 2-carat diamond bracelet for only $279. And then you'll find Mommy kissing Santa Claus. At Zales stores nationwide, or shop online at Zales.com.
They opened the doors of the internet to a new kind of store, changing the way we shop and buy. Starting as the world's largest internet bookstore, Amazon.com's focus on service was key to becoming the world's largest internet everything store. Now serving 25 million customer accounts in over 200 countries. Satisfaction a must. Where do you find the companies that are shaping the future? Exactly. NASDAQ, stock market for the digital world.
Oh, hey, easy, boys, easy. Whoa, excuse me. Hey, is that a collect call? Who are you? I'm the 1-800-COLLECT advice guy. Use 1-800-COLLECT and save the people you call a buck or two. 1-800. How about a C-O-L-L? E-T. Can't spell collect without a T. Thanks. Use 1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
Why are .com companies that people counted on to make them rich suddenly going broke? Let 60 Minutes tell you why, tonight.
Back in Denver, where Jay Bellamy's interception leads to a field goal and a 3-0 lead. A reminder to log on to NFL.com. Find out who's in, who's out, who's in the playoff bubble. It's all at NFL.com. Seattle starts from the 20. Kitna to throw. Underneath. Intercepted. It's Al Wilson, the linebacker, and Wilson is out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Couldn't quite stay in. Ricky Waters knocked him out as Wilson has his 3rd pick of the year.
I think Jon Kitna was going for Derek Mays, thinking he had him locked up on Jimmy Spencer. He does not see Al Wilson coming from the middle of the field. Here's Wilson, number 56. Watch him float over from underneath. There's Mays and Spencer, and no idea lurking underneath is Al Wilson. That's a bad case of a quarterback locking in on a receiver and not seeing the rest of the defensive picture.
15th interception thrown by Kitna. One of the reasons Holmgren said he's looking for a quarterback for next year. From the 7-yard line, Anderson, who had 4 touchdowns last week, a Denver record against New Orleans, is stuffed at the 5-yard line. Cortez Kennedy, the Tez, leading the way. Speaking of last week, Dan,
Well, here they are, and keep in mind now that this is against the Saints defense that nobody has run the ball successfully against all season long. Mike Shanahan said, well, you know why? I don't think anybody really tried. I don't think anybody really took it to the New Orleans defense, but certainly the Broncos did last week.
251 yards for Anderson. An NFL rookie record wide open, and McCaffrey for the touchdown as McCaffrey embraces his 8th score of the year.
And that was a beautiful play fake in the backfield by Gus Frerotte. That was really pretty, the way he handled the ball right there. And of course, Mike Shanahan now getting to use that famous chart of his early in the ball game where he gets he's got a play that he likes down in this area, and boy, that was #1 on the hit list.
Jason Elam, who now holds the record for consecutive extra points, 303 straight, broke former Seahawk kicker Norm Johnson's mark of 301. McCaffrey's 5-yard touchdown reception gives Denver the lead.
Turning good friends into better ones. Turning new friends into old ones. Turning distant friends into closer ones. Turning leaf.
Ed McCaffrey played his college ball at Stanford, has just developed, matured as one of the outstanding receivers in the league. He was drafted by the Giants in '91.
And this is all made possible by the play fake, the fake toss by Frerotte. And that, of course, a play fake has a lot of meaning. When last week your running game generated 300 yards, and that's exactly what the Broncos did against the Seahawks 2 weeks ago when they went for 301 yards. Every play fake has to be honored.
Well, Denver, again, 37 takeaways this season for their defense, tied for most in the NFL, and that leads to the touchdown. Kick comes down to Kerry Joseph. And he's across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Tackled by Detron Smith, the backup fullback.
Take one look. Take one. Here's the fake. Everything going this way. The fake by Frerotte. He comes back and finds McCaffrey in the end zone. But again, when you pummel the running game the way that the Broncos do, you can't really blame the Seahawk defense for reacting in that direction. All 11 members of the Seattle defense took a step to their right, and that one step was enough to allow Ed McCaffrey to break back to the far side.
And now it's Mike Holmgren who works from that play chart. Both disciples of the San Francisco offense of Bill Walsh. Waters, no, it's Alexander. Waters is the ball carrier out to the 38-yard line. Bonnie.
Earlier in the quarter, Jay Bellamy picked off Gus Frerotte for his 4th interception of the year. Number 20 not back on the field because he suffered some cramping in his lower back. Bellamy's in the locker room now. He's questionable to return, guys.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. Kind of like that hat, huh?
This is a case of survival, I think, today for Bonnie. This is where you empty the bucket. You put on everything you brought with you and maybe make a run to the store last night.
And she still looks great. Double tight end, and the give in the backfield, and smothered is Waters by Al Wilson and Eddie Brown. A loss on the play.
Well, talk about a dead play. Dead plays in the running game come from penetration. And over on the other side, you're just having a good look at a running back in Ricky Waters, almost losing the ball, but has a dead play from the beginning. Al Wilson, 2 yards into the Seattle backfield. The strength of the Seattle offensive line is to their right side, behind guard Floyd Wedderburn and their #1 draft choice, Chris McIntosh at right tackle. That's the future. Their running game is to the right.
2nd down, 11. Kitna underneath, incomplete. Open was Darrell Jackson, the rookie from Florida, couldn't hang on. Well, we've got Saturday and Sunday action for you next weekend. On Saturday, we'll be up at Husky Stadium, 4 o'clock Eastern time. The Raiders and the Seahawks, AFC West battle. It all starts with these gentlemen at 3:30. Special time, the NFL today. They're down 11 Seattle, with the Broncos leading 7-3. 3.5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. 3 wide receivers for Kitna on 3rd and long. Fires underneath, complete, but not enough for the first down. Catch made by Darrell Jackson, the rookie, with 41 receptions coming in, second best for any first-year receiver in the NFL this year. Eric Brown made the play, and the punting team on for Seattle.
Well, Greg Robinson threw Seattle a curveball there, Dick. He rushed 2 linemen and dropped 9 people back into coverage. A, that's why Kitna had so long, and B, that's why he couldn't find anybody except somebody really short.
Deltha O'Neal back at the 11-yard line. Jeff Eagles doesn't, well, flag before the kick. And they'll call this one back.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 59. 5-yard penalty remains, 4th down.
Tim Terry, a linebacker. And Eagles will kick it again. O'Neal, speedy return man, was the #1 pick for the Broncos, a 15th overall. As a college senior, on defense, scored 6 touchdowns. Comes up to get this at the 19. And tackled at the 30-yard line by Jean-Philippe Darche again, the snapper. 42-yard punt, 11 on the return.
Let's go back and take a look at this 3rd down play. You're only going to see 2 rushers coming from over here. Kavika Pittman is down. He's going to come back, but only 2 defensive linemen are going to work their way upfield. See Kavika Pittman come back? A 2-man pass rush. You do not see that very often. Yes, Jon Kitna has all the time in the world to try to find somebody, but everybody deep blanketed.
Well, what a cerebral coaching staff this is in Denver, huh? Frerotte, much like the play that scored a touchdown, takes the run left, throwing right, and has to throw it away as it's covered well by the Seahawks, and Lamar King applying pressure from his end position. And another flag.
We have seen more than our fair share of laundry here early in the game, Dick.
Mr. Luckett says illegal use of the hands, interference against the offensive team. George Kuntz acting as captain defensively.
Pass interference, offense number 62 for blocking downfield. The penalty is 10 yards. Repeat, 1st down.
Blocking downfield, which would okay until the quarterback threw the ball. Once that happened, then it became a foul.
Well, the other side of that is that ineligible lineman downfield. Right. You think that comes into play as well.
And another whistle before Denver can snap the ball as they're trying to get the yard marker set on the far side. 2:40 left in this opening period. A cold snow forecast day in the Mile High City. They spot it now at the 16-yard line. Check that, the 21. They go. And we'll bring up 1st down and 20. As you see the skeleton of the new stadium here. Thus far, no name. It's just a handful of seats larger than Mile High Stadium, 76,000 plus, and it is beautiful. It is indeed. Here's Anderson, and he can't make the corner. Tackled out at the 24-yard line by cornerback Willie Williams. Monday on CBS, an annual holiday favorite. Share all the fun again with your family. Don't miss the CBS Classic, A Charlie Brown Christmas, Monday on CBS.
What is it about? There, again, a good look at the stadium going up. You talk about close. It's only about 100 yards away. But it has such beautiful lines when you look at it from a distance. The upper deck, the way it sweeps and rises, it is very, very attractive.
Frerotte down the middle, complete to Rod Smith, breaks the tackle, and that gives him a first down at the 45-yard line. Kuntz brings him down, and Smith, who is testimony that hard work pays great dividends, has the first down.
And this is Seattle playing a very soft zone. Watch Rod Smith there with the little stutter, and he is wide open. If Seattle is going to sit in this deep of an umbrella, I'm afraid that McCaffrey and Smith are really going to take advantage of it. You had about a 10-yard gap between the linebackers and shorter coverage, the safeties deep.
From free agent to star, Rod Smith, 21 more yards. Here's Anderson, and he has his biggest run of the day, about 12 to the Seattle 43. Reggie Tung and Kuntz make the tackle.
Oh, that's just outstanding blocking at the point of attack. That's all that is. And this is everybody. This is wide receivers. This is lead blockers. This is offensive linemen. Look at the block by Carswell, the tight end. McCaffrey out in front. Look at the Matt Lepsis as he clears the path for Anderson. And Anderson not even challenged until he's about 9 yards downfield, getting hit by Reggie Tung.
And this is an incredible offensive line, and around the league they're much talked about, led by Nail in the center. Frerotte, incomplete, way too tall for Ed McCaffrey. And McCaffrey knew he was going to get hit as Willie Williams right there to cover.
Now this is where a quarterback does his receiver no favor whatsoever. Ed McCaffrey put in a very vulnerable position with a ball that is thrown way over the head. And it really isn't much of a hit by Williams, but it looked like McCaffrey landed a little awkwardly. And when he got up and went back to the Denver huddle, he was hurting.
Rubber band man, they call him. He takes so many hits, that big 6'5" frame, able to bend and twist. Anderson looked as if he had a hole, but Michael Sinclair, the veteran from eastern New Mexico, there to make the stop. He had a 63-yard fumble return for a touchdown in the first meeting of these two teams.
And Michael's been to 3 Pro Bowls, and we talked to him yesterday, and this is when it's really tough. Your team is mathematically eliminated. You are playing because you're a professional. You are going about your business because you have pride in what you do. Let me tell you, folks, it's hard. It's easy to play on a winner. Tough to be a pro on a loser.
That's right. A test of professionalism is the way he put it. That's the end of the first quarter with Denver leading 7-3. We'll return to Mile High Stadium after this message.
Okay, sir, you're all set. We got you signed up with all your movie channels.
Great.
You got 4 Stars, 7 HBOs, 5 Showtimes. Okay. We also got you signed up for your local channels.
Beautiful.
No charge for installation.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. Signature?
Sure.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Now get free professional installation when you buy a DirecTV system and sign up for Total Choice programming.
You heard about Benny the Bison?
No, what?
He never checked out the risk and overall performance of those mutual funds he bought.
Well, Benny's no brain surgeon, right?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we created a smarter kind of investor with tools like the Schwab Select List, which highlights historically high-performing mutual funds. Visit schwabwelcome.com to order a free copy of the Select List.
You don't do your homework, you end up looking ridiculous.
With shopping on your MSN homepage, you can search, shop, and compare for televisions, cell phones, video cameras, or whatever else you need.
Friday, a fraternity hazing turns deadly.
Are you ready to tell us what happened?
Was it an accident or murder?
I want to know everything. I promise.
CSI. Then, when Cheech discovers his mother-in-law's secret,
You gonna tell me why you smell like the inside of a head shop?
his life goes up in smoke.
My mother-in-law is a stoner.
An all-new NASH, CBS Friday.
welcome back to the capital city in Colorado. Mile High Stadium. Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, Lance Barrow, our producer, Mike Arnold, our director. Play begins at the 45 of Seattle. Denver 3rd down and 12. Underneath, incomplete. Looked as if Frerottes arm was hit or was deflected as Cortez Kennedy had broken through a block.
Well, big Cortez Kennedy. Let's see. Right there he is, number 96. But actually, it's Lamar King who gets his hand on the ball. So Lamar King, who was the Seahawks' #1 draft choice last year and really coming on here in his sophomore campaign, that time breaks it up.
From Division II, Saginaw Valley State in Michigan.
He's a keeper.
Charlie Rogers. Charlie at the 10. High kick by Tom Ruin. Fair catch at the 6-yard line. Now, good job by Ruin, who has had an offseason averaging under 40 a punt. Timeout with Denver leading 7-3.
STS, the power of and, the fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
You work in remote places. Your cell phone doesn't. Global Star. Call 877-SAT-PHONE today. Your cell phone doesn't. Global Star. Call 877-SAT-PHONE today.
They're our heroes and an inspiration to us all. This Thursday, superstar performers pay tribute to the greatest sports legends of our time. Join Tiger, Kurt, Shaq, and many more with a special performance by Mark Anthony. Find out who'll be Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year, CBS Thursday.
Back in Denver where the Broncos lead at 7-3. And congratulations, you've got the exacta now. You're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Tuesday night inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame.
A setup. This was a setup.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
I think it's terrific. At the Waldorf Astoria in New York.
I'm very proud. You're exactly right. And Bo Schembechler will be there, my college coach, and Bump Elliott, and I'm a very proud guy.
Tackled in the backfield is Ricky Waters as Trevor Price invades. Price having another sensational year, the #1 pick from Clemson. Who was that tackle from Canton, Ohio?
Oh,
what
are you guys doing?
All-America, 1970. Without the mustache,
Yeah, John Elway is in this class that's going in.
One of my favorites, Joe Schmidt from the Lions.
Marcus Allen, our colleague at CBS.
Kitna,
Johnny Rogers.
From his own end zone, had to throw behind Sean Dawkins because there was coverage in front. Terrell Buckley was sitting on a possible interception.
Well, in the first quarter of this game, Dick, I think Seattle did a pretty good job of matching Denver's intensity. Here they are on the road in maybe the most hostile environment in the National Football League, and yet I think they hung right in there with them, played them on an even keel. When you are not doing well, and 5-8 is not doing well, can you match that intensity for 4 quarters? That's really the challenge for Seattle today.
With a chill factor under 10 degrees. 3rd down from his end zone. Kitna deep down the middle. Caught the beautiful catch by Mealy, the tight end. Itula Mealy, who played at the University of Brigham Young University out of Hawaii, and Bill Romanowski couldn't quite get up high enough to deflect it.
Well, Mealy, for a guy at 265 pounds, look at the speed that he shows going down the middle of the field. Romanowski is in really pretty good position. He's only about a step behind, but a perfect strike from Jon Kitna. I mean, downright on a scale of 100, that was 100.
Great coverage. Kitna completes again, this time to Derek Mays. Mays, who has 20 catches on the year. Former Notre Dame star Eric Brown made the hit.
Well, Derek Mays, of course, played for Mike Holmgren in Green Bay. He had 62 receptions last year for the Seahawks, but he's really kind of had a tough year this year. He's been bothered by ankle injury, by finger injury. It's really cost him a lot of playing time, and of course his numbers way down coming in today, only 20 receptions.
2nd and 3, and Kitna to throw again, and has a man complete to Dawkins, and he's out of bounds in Denver territory at the 30-yard line. Billy Jenkins and Jimmy Spencer over there for the Broncos.
Well, Jon Kitna wearing number 7, doing his John Elway impersonation here, dropping in these perfect strikes. Again, look at the coverage by Jimmy Spencer. And Jon Kitna on the road, just throwing back-to-back, absolutely perfect passes.
And that one good for 26 yards.
They're used to seeing number 7 throw the ball well here, but normally it's for the home team.
That's right. Elway wearing that number, but Kitna doing a pretty good impersonation as he throws the short pass to rookie Darrell Jackson, and you could hear the contact as Al Wilson delivered the tackle.
Hits always sound harder on a cold day. There's something, and they feel tougher. Boy, you get a hit and you can just kind of shake it off. It's what you do for a living. But on a cold day, that baby rocks all the way down to the marrow.
You had your share with Michigan in the winter, and also with the St. Louis Cardinals.
As a big guy, you'd always rather play on a cold day than a hot day. Big guys were made for cold weather. Those wide receivers, they're the only ones that want to play when it's hot.
2nd and 5 with the Waters in motion, and Kitna intercepted. This could go all the way. It's Jimmy Spencer. No one to catch him, and Spencer cruises to the touchdown. 80 yards.
And rookie Darrell Jackson was the guy that Jon Kitna thought was just going to run a hitch. Darrell Jackson kept running down the field and never knew what happened. Somebody, either Kitna or Jackson, they weren't on the same page. These two guys weren't in the same book. You saw Darrell Jackson go downfield, and Jimmy Spencer could hardly believe it.
Spencer had an interception for a touchdown in the first game. It went only 21 yards. This one for 80. Try for point by Elam. 14-3 as 2 interceptions by the Bronco defense lead to 2 touchdowns.
CBS is sponsored by Castaway, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks. This Christmas only in theaters. Kay Jewelers. This holiday season, shop Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular.
Jimmy Spencer, one Gator snapping it away from another, the rookie Darrell Jackson, for a 79, officially 79-yard touchdown. 3rd longest in Denver Bronco history.
And actually, interceptions have led to all the points because Frerotte was intercepted, and that's how Seattle got 3.
Steve Lindsay kicks it off. Line drive over Rogers' head, and on the touchback, Seattle will start at the 20. Let's just see what went wrong on that interception.
You know, Dick, you hear everybody talk about sight adjustment. Here's what Jon Kitna is going to see. An all-out blitz from this side right here. What he's expecting is his rookie receiver to run a slant, not a go. So Jon Kitna, see it, everybody blitzes to that side. The slant, no. His rookie elected to go downfield instead of running the slant. And as a quarterback, you have to throw the football expecting a certain pattern. That's a sight adjustment that the rookie wide receiver, Darrell Jackson, just failed to make.
So for many fans, just seeing the play here at Mile High Stadium, they think, oh, Kitna, what a terrible pass.
No. As a receiver, you have to look in, and you have to see that blitz and break off your pattern.
Ricky Waters giving ground and tackled for a loss as Eric Brown, the free safety, comes up to deliver a 4-yard loss.
Again, a pretty effective lead block if the play was to go inside. But the lead block kicks Eric Brown to the outside. That's where Ricky Waters tries to go. That makes it a dead play.
Waters now with 15 yards total on 8 carries. Needed 50 to reach 1,000 today. Fake to Waters, and then the throw to Waters on the screen. Well designed, and he's out near the 30, just short of a first down. Eric Brown again in on the stop, along with Al Wilson.
A good call by Mike Holmgren, and as you said, Dick, this was very well executed. Ricky Waters, number 32, is going to act like he's going to block. He's going to set up right there. He acts like he's going to take a block on Keith Traylor, but it allows him then to fold out, and here come his guys, Pete Kendall, Chris Gray downfield. And that is just, you know, that's a good call against that particular defense. We've seen screens already in this game and went nowhere. You got to have the right defense.
Give now to the fullback, Reggie Brown, who has carried only 2 times all year, and the 244-pounder from Fresno State gets the first down. Bonnie?
Well, Dan, you were talking about before how Michael Sinclair is having a tough time dealing with the 5-8 season. How do you think Mike Holmgren feels for the first time in his 9-year head coaching career? He's got a team on Sunday that's not playing for anything, and he said, you know, it's tough because you want to win and you want to respect your veterans who are playing hard, but you also want the young guys to start playing, and that's why you'll see more of guys like Sean Alexander and Isaiah Kaczynski today.
Kitna to throw. Into the flat, incomplete off Christian Floria.
And Bonnie wins the lottery. She got the first call of Isaiah Kaczynski in today.
The man from Harvard. One of the great stories in this National Football League season, and there are so many. In fact, when you get Mike Anderson for Denver, and there's Kaczynski, who played at Harvard, started every game 4 years for the Crimson, never done before. He and Anderson used the same words about this rookie year. I'm living my dream. 2nd and 10. 14-3. Denver leads on a couple of interceptions. Waters breaks 1 tackle, and then Ian Gold from the University of Michigan, the rookie 2nd-round draft pick, makes the tackle.
You know, Bonnie brought up a good point about Mike Holmgren, and of course Mike has the luxury of an owner who gave him a long-term contract, and Mike knows that he can afford to go into a building mode. You know, not very many coaches in this league can afford to do that. So Mike knows, hey, he says, I never coached a game that I wasn't trying to win. But at the same time, one of those eyes of Mike Holmgren has to be looking at 2001 and beyond.
On 3rd and 6, Kitna being chased. That's Trevor Price that runs him out of bounds, short of the first down, close to the 40-yard line. What a season again by Price at 6'5" and 295. He went to Michigan as well as a linebacker for a couple of years, and then transferred to Clemson. 11 sacks for him on the season. Last year was a top Pro Bowler with 13 sacks.
And there is the happenings around the AFC, and you notice that both Armstrong and Taylor, both Dolphins, but they're both defensive ends. Double-digit sacks from inside, superlative.
On 4th and 2, Steagles to Delta O'Neal, fumbles the ball, but able to fall on it at the 19-yard line. So the Broncos avoid disaster there, and time is called. 8:43 before the intermission. Broncos by 11.
Here's Ike Charlton, Seattle's number 2 draft choice. Watch his right hand here. You can buy a fight and not see a right cross as good as that one. That's a good shot right to the face of Jason Suttle. Charlton is a pretty doggone good corner. 2nd-round draft choice, but you got to make your mark on special teams.
19-yard line, the Broncos start, and Mike Anderson able to pick up 6 on first down. As we remind you, with the scores today, a lot of playoff scenarios are being better defined. And for an update at the conclusion of the game, click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. Look at Seahawks dominating on the yards gained, but down 14-3 thanks to 2 short touchdown scores, 1 on an interception and 1 from the 5-yard line. As Anderson bombs it ahead to the 30-yard line and a first down. Simmons made the tackle. The defense of the Broncos, and there's Al Wilson's intercept that led to the first touchdown, a pass to Ed McCaffrey.
And Jimmy Spencer just standing in the right place at the right time, and a mistake by the rookie wide receiver for Seattle results in a, well, as big a mistake as you can make in any football game.
First down for Frerotte. Lots of time. Fumbles the ball, and the Seahawks have a shot at it.
Nope, I think Lepsis.
What a play by Lepsis to take it away from Michael Sinclair. Sinclair, the man in to make the hit, and Lepsis, who has a tackle at 290, has terrific speed. You can see his burst.
And Dick Lepsis, he's still down. It looks like he's injured himself. Michael Sinclair, take a look at it. Just hard work to the inside. Gus Frerotte can't find anywhere to go with the football. And take a look at this. There's Lepsis, and the first guy there is Lamar King, the defensive end. It looks like he had a shot at it. He overruns the football a little bit. Watch King now. He's number 92 is going to come in. Right there. See him? He overruns the football just a little bit. And Lepsis was able to pull it in, but Matt Lepsis still a little banged up.
So is the Seahawks King. Seahawks are looking at his left shoulder, nearly recovering the ball, but there's the man who beat him to it, Matt Lepsis. He's on the sidelines as Cooper Carlisle's replaced him at tackle. Matt Labouty in for King at end. Underneath to McCaffrey at the 15. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Well short of the first down.
And Lepsis is going to come back into the ball game. Both players, when you're injured, have to leave the field. Let's take a look at the end of this play. Michael Sinclair is going to hit Gus Frerotte and pop the ball loose. It's going to come out right there. Whoops, there it goes. Now it's a foot race, and Matt Lepsis from behind, and when King overruns it, somehow awkwardly he gets his left arm caught back underneath. I suspect Lepsis landed on the ball and got the air knocked out of him. The one play out, back in.
He may have saved his team 7 points with that hustle. Now 3rd down and 17. Underneath again to McCaffrey. Somewhat the same play. Flag down as McCaffrey tackled at the 36-yard line.
Boy, and this was thrown by Phil Luckett.
Hand to the face against the Broncos. Well, it's 4th down and about 4 if they decline the penalty. And that's what Holmgren has signaled. They want the ball. There it is. You could hide a ham sandwich and some chips and a lot of stuff in that little pocket, couldn't you?
All right, let's take a look. Matt Lepsis and Dan Neal, 78 and 62, are working against Michael Sinclair. Now, there you see the left arm of Dan Neal? He's got it right up into the face of Antonio Cochran. That was a good call by Phil Luckett.
Now Charlie Rogers back at the 20 as Ruin, who had to handle a tough snap, scuffs one, but gets a good Bronco roll, and it'll be down at the 18-yard line. Chris Cole, the wide receiver, downs the ball. Well, Tuesday on CBS, imagine your only brother is missing in action in enemy territory. The military's given up on the search. Would you be willing to go it alone to find him? One man might. Don't miss an all-new episode of JAG Tuesday on CBS.
Tuesday nights, the weekly meeting of the Catherine Bell fan club.
Who's the president of that fan club?
I think there are many.
You're going to have to miss the show this week. Well, you can always tape at the 18-yard line.
No comment.
The Seahawks trailing 14-3 despite dominating the statistics. Less than 6 to go in this first half. Underneath to Derek Mays, tackled at the 24-yard line by John Mobley. Bill Romanowski, what an interesting story he is. Before the game, super soup. 2 hours before the game, it's his version of a beef stew. He brings it from home. His wife actually brews it. He said, now that's what gives you the energy to last through 4 quarters.
He brings it for a bunch of his teammates, anybody that'd like to have a little. He's got 3 different kind of carbohydrates in there that all release at different times during the game.
Ricky Waters fighting close to the first down. And Broncos signaling they may have taken the ball away. No, they're ruling as the ball and the player down by contact as a Tanuvasa there for Denver.
Guarantee you a whole bunch of players from the 50s and the 60s looked at that super soup and said, what was that? Look at Romo comes in from the right-hand side, and the ball is way out of there before Ricky Waters gets down to the ground. Fortunately, it was recovered by the Seahawks. Romo and the football. How many times during the course of a game, do they end up in the same place as we see Lamar King heading into the bench and the locker room?
First down for Seattle. The quick throw is to Sean Dawkins, tackled immediately by Terrell Buckley. Back to Romanowski. He is unique in so many ways. One, here's a linebacker with all the stress and strain and hits. He's played in over 200 consecutive games and has never missed a game. High school, college at Boston College as a 4-year starter, and here in the National Football League 13 years. That's incredible.
It is incredible. And he can't say that it's because of super soup, because he hasn't done that all his life. A lot of good fortune involved in that. But it is an extraordinary run.
2nd and 5, the fake to Waters, and Kitna gonna run it and ducks out of bounds. What appears to be shy of the first down at near the 38-yard line, with Mobley the nearest defender. Well, Saturday, Kentucky, the Wildcats look for yet another roadkill with Keith Bogans as they go to East Lansing to battle Charlie Bell, Jason Richardson, and the defending national champion, unbeaten Michigan State Spartans, who have the longest winning streak in college basketball, currently at 18 in a row. That's Kentucky, Michigan State next weekend. Sean Alexander in the backfield as Waters goes out on short yardage. 3rd down and 1. Kitna trying to sneak it, and he gets a good push by his offensive line, and it appears he's made it.
I don't think there'd be much doubt about that. And Phil Luckett, you see with the signal, they don't even need to measure it. Saying that Lamar King has a bruised shoulder, and as of now, the Seahawks are telling us that it's questionable as to whether or not he'll be able to play anymore in this game. And that would be a blow to their defensive line.
Already shortchanged when Jay Bellamy, after making an early interception of the game with a back injury, has not returned. Kitna scrambling and slides at the 43-yard line in front of Billy Jenkins, the free agent pickup by the Broncos at strong safety from the world champion Rams. Reminder at halftime, NASDAQ.com halftime report. Jim, Mike, and Craig back in New York with the scores and highlights and the playoff update, which is clearing with each contest, each score coming in. The Broncos, of course, won behind Oakland, but beating Oakland both times they played this year. There's the first down catch by Derek Mays out near midfield. Jimmy Spencer covering.
Just a simple out pattern, but this is, to this point, an effective drive by Seattle. How big of a cushion is Jimmy Spencer giving Derek Mays? Well, he wasn't even in the picture. That's always a good indication when you see a guy make his break on the out pattern and the corner in coverage nowhere in sight. If that's going to be the case the last 2 minutes of this first half, keep throwing that same pattern.
Seahawks moving the ball. Can they get in the end zone?
A computer won't do Dad much good if it never gets out of the box. So now, when you buy from Gateway, you can also have it installed by us. Start with a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor for just $799 and add on installation, orientation, or even training. Call 1-800-GATEWAY. Technology's great, but in Gateway country, people rule.
Think they're close? Look at that shave. That's total closeness from the new Remington TCT with total closeness technology. It's our best shave ever, even on the toughest spots. Remington TCT. Total closeness or your money back.
Can I have my face back now?
Honey, put the game down now. Come on, let's go.
It's hard to tear yourself away from Circuit City's new entertainment zone. It's got an expanded selection of the hottest new digital technology, like lots of digital and 35mm cameras you can try out, a cool interactive video game department, the latest PC software and upgrades, plus exciting MP3 products and more.
Honey, don't make me come back there.
I gotta go. Come see the all-new entertainment zone at Circuit City.
Bologna? Or bologna with cheese?
Looking for something with some zip?
Bologna or bologna with cheese?
Well, Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich with its fiery blend of pepper and spices satisfies that crave.
That one is...
The Raiders are fighting for first and for home field advantage against division foe Seattle. The playoff pressure is on. Saturday on CBS.
14-3 Denver. The next to last game to be played here at Mile High Stadium. They'll finish the season against San Francisco, and then this wonderful arena will be history.
I would have been saddened indeed if we'd have gone through this football season without getting to come and pay our last respects to this stadium. I was here as a player. It's not a fun place to play, and here as a broadcaster for so many years. A lot of great memories, and it might be home of, you know, you hate to say somebody is the very best, but if the Bronco fans aren't the best, they're tied with somebody else.
They make this place shake with their enthusiasm. From the 50-yard line, Seattle trailing 14-3, but this is another very impressive drive as Ricky Waters tackled now at the 43, where it'll be 2nd and 3. Al Wilson makes the play for Denver. And Seahawks have certainly outgained the Broncos by plenty, but trail by 11 thanks to 2 crucial interceptions against Kitna. Gets it away, but throws it into the sidelines, and Wilson all over him.
And that time, Jon Kitna, of course, being outside that tight end box, can do whatever he wants with that football as long as he gets it back close to the line of scrimmage. Mike Holmgren putting Kitna on the move here, Dick. A lot of times in this first half, he's been getting him outside the pocket. Jon Kitna not necessarily known as a real mobile guy, a real scrambling quarterback.
3rd down and 3. Good protection again. Down the middle, incomplete. Derek Mays unable to make a circus catch.
And that's just not a very good throw by Jon Kitna. That's he gets way too much air under this ball. He's got an open receiver and he just overthrows him.
So Romanowski, though, making him throw high in front of the potential receiver. There's Romanowski, and
yeah, but that ball high and behind his receiver. That was a receiver that Jon Kitna could have hit in stride.
And Seattle with 207 yards in this first half to 81 for Denver, and yet they trail 14-3. Eagles to Delta O'Neal. Gonna let it go. And the Broncos will take over at the 14-yard line. Well, it's Oakland at Seattle Saturday, then on Sunday a doubleheader on CBS. These Broncos will be at rival Kansas City, and at 4:15 a big one in the AFC East as the Colts go to Miami. The Dolphins losing a tough one to Tampa Bay today. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 in the West, with NFL Today.
Oh, I was going to circle Mike Ditka. How come he's the only guy that didn't get a dark suit? He's in the light gray. Everybody else is kind of dark. Yeah, you know, you look at our schedule next week. How much fun is it football in December? This is great.
Hard to believe it's here already as Anderson takes the pitch, and he's out to the 17-yard line where Antonio Cochran made the tackle with Maurice Kelly.
You know, each and every football game has such an urgency to it, but when you get into December, it really is almost a life and death struggle, figuratively speaking.
And this season with so much parity, every team has to feel if we just get in the playoff, we've got a shot. There's no dominant team.
No, there isn't. You're right.
2nd down and 7, empty backfield. Strength to the right of the formation. Underneath to McCaffrey. Gave a little ground and may have given up the first down as Ike Charlton, the rookie from Virginia Tech at corner, made the stop.
If you're the line judge, how tough a call is that, where McCaffrey comes towards the sidelines? You're looking at the feet, you're looking at the football. Ed's going to wave it over the first down marker here at the very end, trying to do it. Of course, he's already out of bounds when he does it.
Fourth catch for McCaffrey, including a touchdown. And a reminder, NASDAQ.com halftime report, scores, highlights, and the latest on the playoff situation coming up at the halftime break. First down for McCaffrey. 35 seconds left. This is Rod Smith. It's his turn, and he has a first down at the 40-yard line, and time is called by Denver. They have one remaining. 29 seconds left, first half. Two interceptions, one by Al Wilson to the Seattle 7-yard line, and then a McCaffrey touchdown reception, 7-0, and Jimmy Spencer intercepted another Kitna pass and went 79 yards for a score for the 14-3 lead. And you don't, as a visitor, want to be behind Denver at halftime. Only 3 of 49 teams have been able to win.
And Dick, they need about 20 yards to put Elam into the upper 50s for a long field goal.
Rod Smith. And he's to the 48-yard line of Seattle, and the Broncos will hurry up as the clock ticks. Only one timeout left, and now they spend it with 20 seconds left. We talked about Rod Smith and hard work paying off, Dan, and you had teammates like this. Everyone works hard, but here's a free agent out of Missouri Southern. They say he's almost legendary to make himself a good player, that he has never missed a workout in the offseason. They said if you want to follow someone's footsteps to make yourself a really good player, there's the man, Rod Smith.
And you know, he really followed in the footsteps of the guy that kind of wrote the book on that, Jerry Rice. All right, now there they are now at the 47-yard line. If they get down to the 40, you'd be looking at about a 57-yard field goal for Jason Elam. Obviously, I think everybody knows what kind of leg he has.
But, you know, they've not really had him kick many long field goals since he hurt his back.
It'll be interesting to see how far they want to go. You see that tying the NFL record at 63.
Frerotte, sliding catch by Billy Miller, backup tight end from Southern California. His first catch of the season, in fact. Sean Springs covering with 12-11. They'll down the ball. That'll give him a chance. 10 seconds for one more play. If it's either to the end zone or sidelines, and then get Elam in. It would appear, based on Elam's bad back, that this is out of his range. That's why they signed Steve Lindsay to do the kickoff chores.
Well, Jason's still warming up. You run the risk of a sideline pattern here, not having any timeouts, that if you get tackled, and the officials do a pretty good job of working the sidelines, of not giving a cheap out of bounds to a receiver. If you're tackled and your progress is stopped in the field of play, boy, you'll see that sign where they keep that clock winding.
Yeah, the call here might be, one, go to the end zone for the score, or do you throw a 10-15-yard sideline hoping your receiver can catch the ball, get out of bounds, and get Elam on the field?
I think you got a better chance with the 10 or the 15-yard throw to the sideline.
Shanahan not at all happy about this delay. Referee Luckett now goes to the near sidelines after talking with Holmgren. He answers to the other mic, Shanahan. What do you think that was all about? No idea.
Got me. Nothing important, or Phil Luckett would have got on the field, Mike, and enlightened us.
Receivers out. Underneath, middle of the field. They're never going to be able to get it off. It's 2 seconds, 1 second, and that'll be the end of the first half. So that was the risk, going to the center of the field. There was no way in 10 seconds they could stop the clock. That will be something Shanahan will try to digest. Not too happy about.
No, there's a play that has 0% of working.
That's right.
0% chance.
Missed opportunity. Bonnie?
Mike Holmgren, we talked before the game about the importance of not giving up the big play. 2 Denver interceptions that result in 14 points. How do you adjust?
Well, that's the story. I think if we just play a little bit smarter, those things shouldn't happen. It's really a very close ball game. Our defense is playing very well. We just that's something that's bugged us all season, Bonnie, and it bugged us again today. But we'll come out and battle the second half.
All right, Coach. Thanks.
Okay.
Mike Holmgren and the Seahawks, plenty yards, but only 3 points, trailing 14-3. Coming up, the NASDAQ.com halftime report, all the latest scores and highlights. That's next, the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Deltha O'Neal is deep for the Broncos as Ryan Lindell ready to send it to the northern end of Mile High Stadium. Thus far, no snow, although that is predicted later this afternoon or early evening here in the Mile High City. Temperature with a chill factor under 10 degrees as we're ready to go in the second half. Kick to the right sidelines. O'Neal at the 7. Oh, is he hammered shy of the 15-yard line? Well executed kickoff. You saw that bunch formation and then the kick to the sidelines, and well covered indeed. So Seattle looking at the stats saying we should be ahead 14-3.
Well, and all the points in this game so far are the direct result of interceptions. It's 14-3 and a field goal and 2 touchdowns, and it's again the old mistakes are killing us. Take a look at the numbers right here, and you see the 2 turnovers by Seattle directly resulting in 14 points. The 1 Denver turnover resulting in a Seattle field goal.
On first down, Anderson driving up the middle and into the arms of Chad Brown. Bunny Bernstein, what do you have for us?
Well, guys, Mike Shanahan obviously happy with the Broncos defense. He said on offense, we just need to stop hurting ourselves and be able to sustain drives. Couple of defensive injuries for Seattle. Jay Bellamy, the safety who had the interception in the first quarter, he will not be back with a lower back bruise. Neither will defensive end Lamar King. X-ray showed he had a dislocated left shoulder. That's a shame, guys, because he had a big game against Atlanta with 2 sacks.
That's right. Bonnie King trying to go for that fumble, Frerotte fumble, and got his hand caught underneath Lepsis, the Denver recovery. Anderson breaking into the clear for the first time, and he's out to the 38-yard line. Anthony Simmons knocks him out. Rod Smith, the wide receiver, out front with a block.
And once again, Mike Anderson, behind exceptional blocking, ducks right inside his left tackle Tony Jones and not challenged. This isn't a case of breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage. Another wonderful illustration of this blocking scheme of the Broncos.
And Utah set a school record with 254 yards rushing in the Vegas Bowl. High school did not play, as we said. 11 years he didn't play. He was a drummer of those quints, the 5 different drums in a very good high school marching band. They went to the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Frerotte underneath, complete to Smith, and he has a first down at the Seattle 44-yard line. Smith continuing to rack up yardage. He leads the National Football League in receiving yardage coming in, and limping is Kerry Joseph, the strong safety.
Well, starting free safety Jay Bellamy already gone. This is the last thing in the world the Seahawks want to have to deal with. Out of an empty backfield, as they have always done under Mike Shanahan, multiple formation and shifting by the Broncos.
Joseph at the top of your screen, limping noticeably as he went out to cover, and they throw incomplete underneath that time for Smith, who has 5 catches and 82 yards today. And continuing to favor that leg is Kerry Joseph.
Well, that may have been a case where Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator, figures that's the best way to keep my safety from having to cover a lot of ground to come with the blitz off the corner.
Joseph, a quarterback at McNeese State, and actually was picked up by Cincinnati as a free agent as a quarterback and then converted to safety. Anderson protecting the football and makes it to the 41-yard line. 3 yards for him. Cortez Kennedy, the tackler.
Well, Dick, you were talking about Kerry Joseph. He didn't become the starter until the 7th game this year when he took over for Reggie Tung. So he's only been the starter for about half a season. Reggie Tung now is having to play free safety for Jay Bellamy. And you talked about Jay Bellamy having to leave the game. What a shame. He actually hurt himself on the interception when he landed hard on his back. He makes a big play for his team, and it forces him out of the game.
The throw by Frerotte is complete to McCaffrey, and McCaffrey hit at the 31. It's another Denver first down. Mike Charlton seeing a lot of duty today. The rookie from Virginia Tech at the corner made the stop.
And as we've seen in the first half, a lot of room under this deep Seattle zone. Take a look at the hole in that zone coverage. You know, you have an umbrella of about 5 or 6 guys that's 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. If that's what they're going to do, guys like Ed McCaffrey will run short, run crossing patterns all day.
6 catches today, 86 on the year. Rod Smith has 86 as well. What a 1-2 punch. Anderson rested for a play, back in, and he's to the 26. Kennedy, the tackler, after a gain of nearly 5 more. That puts him at the 67-yard mark for the day. That pales in comparison to his NFL rookie record 251 last week. Also a Denver all-time record in a single game.
13 rushes, 67 yards. I mean, that's 5 yards a carry. But yet, when Mike Anderson posts those kind of numbers, you're going, geez, what, is the guy taking it easy today or what?
On second down and 5, Anderson again. And he carries tacklers with him to the 20-yard line, and that's a first down.
Dick, a big story here in Denver is Alex Gibbs, and there's a look at the offensive line coach, assistant head coach of the Denver Broncos. He said that he's going to retire at the end of this season. He's 59 years old. He's been the old line coach here 6 years, his second tour of duty here, and it's really a blow to the Denver Broncos, although Mike Shanahan feels confident that he can keep Alex involved, get him to training camp, maybe be a consultant. Odds are that Rick Dennison, their special teams coach, will take over the offensive line.
First down, it's Anderson again. And this Denver philosophy is to wear down the defense. To the 17 goes Anderson. Well, Gibbs, the term consultant already being used by Mike Shanahan to bring him in next year. Dr. Gibbs, if you will, the doctorate in education. He's a very learned guy, although his coach speak might defy that at times. He's the kind of coach you had him too. You love him one minute, boy, do you hate him too.
And there's been a handful of these guys that just become synonymous. Jim Hannafin, Alex Gibbs, Joe Bugle. They have really carved their niche.
Here comes Anderson on a sweep. 15, 10. And to the 6-yard line where it's first and goal.
And one other guy I need to add to that list, the late Bob McKittrick from San Francisco. Again, he was like Gibbs in the sense he liked smaller offensive linemen.
Anderson, who bruised a knee last week at New Orleans, did he hurt himself here?
Look at the block out front by Matt Lepsis as he ties up Reggie Tongue and just keeps knocking him backwards. Remember, Mike Anderson kind of banged his knee up last week in the game down in New Orleans. Took a real shot on it. This time he comes over to the bench for a rest. You hope he didn't re-aggravate it.
Karan Coleman, 5 feet 7 inches tall. And he tries to center that Seattle defense and is rejected just inside the 5.
Let's go back. This was the game last week against the Saints when Anderson ran for 251 yards. Right there, boy, you see that shot on his left knee. And that, at first glance, looks like a season-ending injury. In reality, Mike Anderson came back and played later in the game and ran for about another 100 yards.
I got it, man. 86 yards today. Still on the sidelines. Here's Coleman and Karan. Oh, to the 1-yard line, fumbled the ball as he was hit by Sean Springs, but able to recover at the 1-yard line. It appeared he was going to go in for the score.
And his Springs, Sean Springs doesn't seem to be in that big a hurry to get up. Look at the shot he puts on it. And he knocks that ball clean out, and Sean Springs doesn't realize the ball is loose. Look at that shot by Sean Springs. And look at that. Oh. Coleman's so lucky the ball just came rolling right to him. That was good fortune. That was luck, whatever you want to call it.
Denver maintains possession, 3rd and goal at the 1. Anderson, and he can't get in, or did he dive underneath? He now has the ball over the goal line. Touchdown, and Seattle can't believe it. They thought he was down and kind of scooted it in after the fact.
Oh, baby, that was a Mike taking that kind of stoically. Let's watch the 2nd and the 3rd efforts right here. That amazes me. How is Mike Anderson not down? Chad Brown in there. How is he not down on the ground? That ball comes stretching out. And this will be interesting to see if Seattle wants to hit the buzzer and take a look at this. I think Mike Holmgren is saying, let's challenge this.
The only thought would be that Anderson was on the back of other players, but he was so low, you would think he was down, and then at the last minute kind of pushed the ball forward into the end zone. And into the box will go our referee to make that decision, if indeed Holmgren has challenged the call, and apparently he has.
Seattle has challenged the ruling on the field that the runner scored a touchdown.
Well, keep in mind, Phil Luckett is now operating on the, he starts with the call on the field, which was a touchdown. He's going to have to see Mike Anderson down.
There's his knee down right there.
He's down. I think you're right. That's a.
Then he kind of gets up and lurches forward.
Wonderful effort by Mike Anderson, but it appeared that he was down well short of the goal line.
That play may have worked at Camp Pendleton when he returned to football action, but I don't. The instant replay is going to get him, I would think, on this one.
I think so too.
After serving in Somalia, he came back to Camp Pendleton and I guess played on just a flag football team, Anderson, and was so good that one of the sergeants said, you will report to practice today at 3:30, and that sergeant helped this man to become now a budding star in the National Football League.
That was maybe our most definitive look, that last replay we just looked at right there. And again, though, you know, is Phil Luckett going to be able to say for sure that that knee of Mike Anderson's touched the turf? Did it graze the mile-high turf? Did it just look like it? Again, it was a touchdown, so he has got to see ironclad proof that he was down short. I think this is, again, to see that it's that left knee. And, you know, every time I look at it, Dick, I'm going, well, tougher, yeah. Did it go down? Maybe it didn't go down. I'm not sure on that replay, if I'm Phil Luckett, I can overturn it.
There isn't definitive evidence that knee actually hit the turf from that angle, and yet that's our best one. Well, Denver's on quite a run in terms of challenges. Last week at New Orleans, 3 replays all went Denver's way. 2 for Denver, 1 against the Saints. But you can see why Holmgren, with help from upstairs from his assistant coaches, would want to challenge. Certainly to the naked eye, initially it didn't appear he had gotten in.
Well, there's no question that Mike Anderson did a wonderful job of keeping himself up by putting his free hand on the ground. But did he keep that left knee rather, from scraping the turf? The Mile High faithful here growing a little weary, a little restless.
And now the verdict.
I'm not sure he can overturn it.
After reviewing the ruling on the field, after reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Yep. Touchdown. The player was on bodies and did not touch the ground. Seattle is charged with timeout. Timeout, Seattle.
Well, I think it's hard to disagree with Phil Luckett. At first glance, it looked like that knee was on the ground, but then the more you look at it, and that is just a wonderful effort by Mike Anderson.
Anderson scoring his 12th touchdown rushing this season, and remember, in 3 games he had only 1 carry total, so he in essence has played only now in his 11th game.
Those legs are, I'm telling you, they're fresh for being 27. They are not used and abused.
Elam adds another point to his all-time consecutive string, and Denver boosts its lead to 21-3. 7 minutes 9 seconds. Opening drive of the second half, going 85 yards in 13 plays. Anderson, a somewhat controversial 1-yard touchdown run, his 7th touchdown in 3 games.
There's no asterisk behind it.
That's right. They all count. As Steve Lindsay sends it high but short to the 11. Rodgers. And he's fumbles the ball at the 28-yard line. And now they'll unpile. No signal yet.
We got it.
It's impossible to describe what's going on down there unless you've been there.
Just the matter that you might have had at first doesn't count.
Denver has it.
They dig and dig and dig. Just because you got there first doesn't mean you're going to get the turnover.
No, it's who has it the first time a guy in a striped shirt looks down.
And it's Keith Burns who makes a comeback on the special teams. And with his return to the Denver roster, this whole Bronco team seemed to be uplifted. He's been a terrific special teamer, went off and was re-signed. Rodgers with a fumble, and Burns at the 27-yard line gives Denver a chance to blow it wide open here.
And how many times have teams now found themselves in this position? And as you can see, Rodgers was still well off the ground, a legitimate fumble, but this is where Denver blows people out.
Credit George Coggill with a tackle. Anderson, and he's to the 21-yard line. 6 more for Anderson as he shoots for the century. He's close now. Simmons made the tackle.
When you're Seattle and you have to come here every year because you're in the same division, the memories of this stadium and how few times you've won here, this is where they all start to creep into your head. You're down 21-3. It's late in the 3rd quarter. You're backed up to your own goal line, and it is human nature to say, oh my God, here we go again.
Anderson couldn't find the hole. His tackle at the 20 short of the first down. Bunny?
Well, Lance, that great touchdown effort by Mike Anderson is just a perfect example of the way his running has improved since the beginning of the year. Mike Holmgren said he used to run so high that the safeties could stick him. Now he gets his pads down. He can plow through guys. And he says, you should see the way this guy blocks out of the backfield. He can chip a 300-pound lineman and knock him flat on his back.
And we have evidence of just that, Bonnie. We'll show our audience when we get a moment. He's a terrific blocker. He may be designed to be the fullback of the future here in Denver.
Well, good luck selling him that.
Well, he's still a rookie.
Oh, no. How are you going to go back to the farm once you've seen Perry? Here's a good one. This is what Bonnie's talking. Watch Mike Anderson. This is called chip. Well, that's not a chip. When you hit a guy that hard and drop him to the ground, that was Riddick Parker. Here he goes again.
300-pound lineman he's knocking down.
And that's a knack that some guys have. It's always you're taught to get that foot down and strike over the top of that planted foot. Mike Anderson has it down.
38-yard attempt by Jason Elam.
No leaping 24, no leaping space.
And it is good. So the Bronco lead now 3 touchdowns. It's 24-3.
She will always remember Christmas 2000. How is up to you. A diamond is forever.
Magical gifts that bring out the fun in everyone. Turn on the fun. Best Buy.
Tuesday on 60 Minutes 2. Is this the drug the world has been waiting for? He thinks so, and he helped wipe out smallpox. The story Tuesday at 9, 8 Central.
Spend the holidays in the district where Santa's taking names.
Is everyone around here losing their minds?
What cop's been nice?
I want. I play commander. I still got bruises from the Cabbage Patch days.
And who will be naughty?
What's the chance?
Chance of what?
Some of that love.
The District.
Officer.
Detective.
All new episodes CBS Saturday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Best Buy. Buy online, return to store. BestBuy.com. Now, wasn't that easy? And by De Beers, the world's diamond expert since 1888.
Well, it's been a great snow year up there, up in the mountains. And, you know, we've got that show Bumps and Jumps coming up from Steamboat. And everybody in Steamboat knows the best place to watch that, Dick.
Vern Lundquist?
From his deck, from old buddy Vern's deck. He looks right out on it. We'll be there.
Everyone's invited.
Come on up.
Rodgers won't take it this time after the fumble on the last return. Seattle begins at the 20. They need points, and in a hurry with 6:09 left in this third quarter. Denver looking for number 6 in a row.
Introducing the Acura MDX, taking the SUV to a place it's never been before.
This is my killer DVD system.
This is my killer DVD rental section.
Twin wave laser pickup, progressive scan output.
Turn of the century dramas, futuristic sci-fi comedies.
42 inches.
1,000 movies.
You have the hardware, Blockbuster has the software. We have more DVDs to rent than ever, and you like your DVD, or the next one's free.
High-density plastic resin containment unit.
The best way to DVD is Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home.
The new economy won't be like the old new economy. The new economy will have new ideas. Ideas like profitability. With powerful e-business solutions, the new economy will be about how well you run your e-business, not just how well you promote it. SAP.
Has no room for wiggle. He's got to come out firing like an MVP.
The NFL Today, Sunday on CBS.
And welcome back. 6:09 left in the third, and finally Seattle with a scrimmage play in this half, outgained by Denver 93-0. As Denver long scoring drive to start the second half, and then the fumble on the kickoff. Ricky Waters held in check. Tackled at the 22, 2nd down and 8 tonight on 60 Minutes. Why are the QuickRush.com companies suddenly going broke? Well, 60 Minutes will tell you why tonight. That follows our telecast in the East.
I wish somebody would have told me about 6 months ago.
Too late. You see Seahawks dominating in the first half, but the Broncos came out on fire here in the second half. Waters in motion. Kitna underneath. What a throw. And then a fumble. And it's picked up by the Seahawks. It's the rookie Jackson out of bounds at the Denver 41-yard line. Billy Jenkins stripped the ball away, and it went right to Darrell Jackson.
Well, it starts with an unbelievable throw by Jon Kitna. Now there's Darrell Jackson, the rookie. He's calling for it. He's out of the play, but he's just by getting close, it squirted right to him. But it started. What a great play. What a great throw by Jon Kitna to Mealy.
And there's a moral in the story. If you want the ball, just keep raising your hand to the quarterback. You'll get it. He may not throw it to you. That's how you get it. Is Shanahan going to challenge this play?
I may want to see if it was a
Denver
completed ball.
is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a completed forward pass.
So Mike says he didn't have possession. Well, it's an incomplete pass.
Let's take a look. There's Itula Mealy. Yeah, you got to have both feet down and demonstrate possession of the football. I don't think, even though he never pulled it to his body, there was no juggling, there was no nothing. My first inclination in looking at that is that Mealy had possession of the football.
But that first impression today hasn't been real strong.
Those of you that are very astute observers, you will notice, though, that will not be my head sticking under the hood. But look at this. There's no juggling. He's got it.
Yeah, that's definitely a catch.
Well, but then again, you're going to look at it and say, well, Billy Jenkins had his hand on it too. Boy,
okay, you got to vote right now. Is it a catch or not a catch?
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. We're back to the ruling on the field, which was completed catch. So Phil has got to see something that definitively overturns it.
Love when you talk that way.
Let's go ahead and take a peek at it. Regular speed. It looked. How come I'm the guy that has to go out on a limb here? It looked to me like he solidly held the football. Now, he did not pull it to his body.
That doesn't matter.
But he was holding it. It didn't appear to be bobbled and juggled and all the other things it would say.
And he got both feet down.
Oh, he took several steps, no doubt. From behind, let's see how many steps he takes. 2, 3. On about 3.5 is when the ball pops out. First of all, give Billy Jenkins, the strong safety, a lot of credit. He really stays with this thing.
Well, Shanahan apparently ready to roll the dice. He's won 4 straight decisions. Will this end his string?
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Completed pass, Seattle first down. Denver is charged the first timeout. Timeout Denver.
But I don't blame Mike Shanahan. That's close enough that I think you gamble a timeout to take a look at that.
And it was right in front of him.
Right.
He had a bird's eye view of the play himself.
Now he also has the luxury of being up by 3 touchdowns. Timeouts cost less when you're up by 3 TDs.
Well, Seattle getting a break, however, and at least get the first down at the 41 of Denver. Taking a long time for them to mark the ball. Now they're ready to go. Kitna grew up a Seahawk fan. Dave Craig, the quarterback in those years, throws complete to Derek Mays. Short yardage, if any, at the 40-yard line. Good hit by Jimmy Spencer.
You know, Dick, the Seahawks celebrating their 25th year in the National Football League, and I always feel like I'm part of Seahawks history. My teammates and I with the St. Louis Cardinals played the very first regular season game ever played against the Seahawks up at the Kingdome, opening day of 1976. And we were lucky to get out of there with a win.
Interception in the end zone. On the draw, Waters showing his power style to the 28 before Jenkins can get him down. First down, Seattle.
And good for the Seahawks here, down by 3 touchdowns, showing that they still got some fight left in them. On the road, easy to just say, well, we'll get them next year, guys. But this is a good, solid drive here by the Seattle Seahawks.
Ricky Waters is 12 yards away from 1,000 to run his string of 6 straight years, 1,000 yards or more.
You mean he's got 988?
No, he needs more than that. And Kitna, after scrambling for 5 or 6, is knocked down by John Mobley.
Well, Jon Kitna he sees nothing, and you saw the pass rush worked out towards the ends, leaving the middle really open. Kitna's not the kind of a quarterback that you put much of a spy on him, but John Mobley, look at him square. Look at that. See, that's how a linebacker tackles. No sideways glancing blows. You get your shoulders square and drive through the guy.
2nd and 5, and the play doesn't work this time, the draw, because Ma Tanuvasa is right there around the ankles of Waters.
Well, Ma'a got himself well into the Seattle backfield. That's good offensive lines, and it's just you work so hard not to allow penetration. 11 people, 10 of them do the right thing. One guy allows the penetration. You got a dead running play.
Temperature dropping here in Denver, but as yet no snow. Kitna to throw. Has to run again. Slides at the 16-yard line. Another first down in front of Billy Jenkins.
That hurt. Something there went wrong in that slide. Jon Kitna getting up, and he's grimacing. He's going to do the hook slide. Does he catch anything? Sure can't. First glance, let's look at his. Let's look at the feet and the ankles. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, you can see his left ankle kind of caught in there at a bit of an awkward angle.
Trailing 24-3. Kitna fires toward the end zone. Touchdown to Mealy, but will it count? 2 flags thrown in the Seattle backfield.
Almost certainly some sort of holding or illegal use of hands against the Seahawks.
Hand to the face against Seattle.
Bring her back.
Well thrown potential touchdown to
illegal
Tula
hands
Mealy.
to the face. Offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, repeat. First down.
Well, we talked about this young right side. The second guy in right here. This is Floyd Wedderburn, the right guard. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's. Oh yeah, he had the left hand, and then he gets the right hand. He got the double dipper.
1 flag was for the left and 1 flag for the right.
They got 1 Pro Bowler on this line. That's Walter Jones, the left tackle. They're number 1 back in '97. They're really trying to bring this right side along, hoping it's a foundation they could build off in the future.
Waters on the draw, and he's inside the 25 to the 23, and again well defended by the Denver Broncos. Monday on CBS, it's the holiday favorite with which you grew up. Don't miss the CBS classic Charlie Brown Christmas, followed by an all-new King of Queens, Monday's #1 comedy Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by Becker with Ted Danson, and Monday's #1 drama Family Law. All here. What a lineup Monday on CBS.
Kevin James makes me laugh just looking at him. He's a funny guy.
A minute and a half left in the third. Second and long. Wide open downfield is the rookie Darrell Jackson, and he has a first down and goal at the 5-yard line in front of Eric Brown.
Well, and Jon Kitna with just great pass protection, and I think again Denver, as they have shown that they'll do, only comes with a 2-man pass rush. And Jon Kitna, he could have stayed there another 3 or 4 seconds. And almost looking upfield before that ball gets there is Darrell Jackson. He almost took his eye off that at the last second.
Jackson, the man who scooped up Mealy's fumble and kept this drive going. First and goal at the 5. The fade is caught for a touchdown by Sean Dawkins. Dawkins' 4th touchdown of the season.
And he pats Terrell Buckley on the head as if to say, I'm sorry I'm so much taller than you, T-Buck. It's not my fault you're 5'9" and I'm 6'4".
That's the same advantage McCaffrey has on the cornerbacks of Seattle.
Absolutely. And that's the second time this game that we've seen them try to go to the fade to Dawkins. Jimmy Spencer was the corner the other time, but Kitna overthrew it. That time he dropped it in perfectly.
Lindell for the point after. And with 58 seconds left in this third quarter, the Seahawks draw within 14. 24-10.
I'm tall, you're short. Too bad.
That's into Denver's lead. 80-yard drive in 10 plays. 5 minutes plus, and Dawkins officially 4 yards from quarterback Kitna.
And this is when there's a little frost on the pumpkin, when even the horse covers up.
Frost on thunder, huh?
If that's an electric blanket, that's living good.
Delta O'Neal deep comes up to the 6. And tackled at the 26-yard line by Sean Springs with 47 seconds remaining in the third. Broncos lead by 14. 30 years, Mile High sold out. These great fans, Mile High City, suffering through the heat of the early summer and knowing how to battle the cold in December. From the 26, Frerotte, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Rod Smith. A rare drop by this talented wide receiver. Folks, Saturday, the NFL on CBS, off to an early start. Be with us. It'll be Rich Gannon and the playoff-hungry Raiders against Ricky Waters and the Seattle Seahawks. Jim, Randy, Craig, Jerry, Mike, and Marcus go to work double time Saturday and Sunday on the NFL Today. They start at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 in the West, and it'll be our privilege, this crew, to be up in the Emerald City for all the action.
Husky Stadium.
Oh, boy.
The King Dome went poof.
Oxygen mask. Frerotte, incomplete, closest to Dwayne Carswell, the tight end.
Well, Gary Kubiak has taken over play calling this year for this Denver Bronco team, and curious here, protecting a 2-touchdown lead and the possessors of an awesome ground attack, that they would go to the air twice in a row here, burning off a 0 time on the clock.
Kubiak, who was picked by the Broncos in a late round. In the same year, they selected John Elway came here, the '83 draft, and has won the confidence of Mike Shanahan to call the plays this year. First time that Shanahan has not taken that duty. Anderson, well, you can see how he bolts that first step. Got a tremendous spring off that first step, and he's out to the 30-yard line, but that's short of a first down. That punt team comes on.
Was an ugly possession. Of all the times you'd think they'd like to grind out some first downs, keep the ball away. Your defense has been out on the field for a long time. Seattle had put together a good drive.
99 yards today for Anderson.
Yeah, well, he didn't get much of a chance there on first or second down. A bit of a surprise.
And that's the final second, the end of the third quarter. Denver Broncos 24, the Seattle Seahawks 10. And we'll return to Mile High Stadium right after this word from your local station. Should they win and Buffalo lose or tie tomorrow night, they'd be in the playoffs. Tom ruined a punt. Charlie Rogers at the 25. A wobbler, returnable. Oh, he fair catches. Whoa. And he had blockers and had some room to run. Rogers, who fumbled on the kickoff return. Thursday on CBS, we invite you to join the biggest names in sport. Tiger Woods, Shaq O'Neal, Kurt Warner, Venus Williams, and more. Who will be named the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year for the year 2000? A special All-Stars celebration Thursday night on CBS. You didn't get nominated for that one, huh?
No, I
missed that one too.
I did, but
you did decline.
I said if nominated, I will not serve.
Go ahead, Tiger. You probably won't win it. The draw to Waters, running through some tacklers to the 35 and a gain of 3. Mobley another stop for the Broncos. You know, it was interesting talking to Mike Shanahan, wasn't it? To be in his office and all of a sudden he's flicking on the television set and he's got an eye in every room, every coaching room.
It's like sitting in the director of the CIA's office. It's really Mike Shanahan from his desk can go into the offensive meetings, go into the defensive meetings. Every one of the offensive and defensive meetings is recorded in case they pick up a new player, a free agent, somebody was sick that day. They can actually show them a tape of the meeting.
2nd and 7. Into the flat to Mays, and he steps out of bounds at the 41, but that will be a yard shy of a first down.
When he told us they were taping the meetings, Dick, I had to ask him if they had strategically placed one of the cameras so you could see if any of the players were sleeping.
That goes back to some old days.
Are you kidding me? Talk about Big Brother watching you. But you stop and think about it. They pick a guy up in the middle of the week, and rather than say the offensive coordinator having to take hours to go over something, you know, give the guy the tape of the meeting and let him study that way. It makes a lot of sense.
We'll tell you where Shanahan got the idea after this play. 3rd and 1. And a play action fake, and the throw complete into the flat to Max Strong, the fullback, and it appears to be
close.
Oh, it is going to be close. He seemed to have more forward progress, but the way they're spotting it now, he may not have made it.
Well, it's hard to say because we're blocked here because it's right in front of the Denver bench.
And they're going to have to call on the chains. That'll give us a chance. Shanahan said he got the idea from Bill Walsh in the 49ers when he served as the offensive coordinator. He said he looked at tapes that the 49ers had for 6 months as he took over as the offensive coordinator. That's how he learned the system.
And I had never heard of it before. It's really a good idea. But I have to admit, as a player, I'm sure glad there weren't cameras in some of my meeting rooms.
No, you would never doze.
No. I'm not saying me, but I had some teammates that were unique.
Did snoring ever give them away or not?
Well, it's but I hate to say this, but times have changed so much. I played back in the 70s, and a lot of my teammates smoked. Guys smoked back then.
Yeah, in the meetings, even in the locker room.
In the locker. Are you kidding me? I had one teammate in particular who had like 6 cigarettes at halftime. I never saw a guy smoke that fast.
First down on the measurement for the Seahawks, who trail by 14. Screen, the Waters. He's got blockers. And he's into Denver territory, and a first down at the 46-yard line. Lights now on, full effect here at Mile High Stadium.
And the Seahawks are not going away quietly. And right now, I think a little uneasiness here at Mile High Stadium. Another good-looking screen. Ricky Waters out in the open field, just so solid, so productive of a player over the years. Yeah, I think everybody knows that he's volatile, that he's got a lot to say. But slowly but surely, Ricky Waters has just been one thing more than anything else: productive.
For 3 different teams, 1,000 yards. No one's ever done that.
5 Pro Bowls in there.
The throw deflected, incomplete. He was looking for Sean Dawkins in the middle of the field, and Mobley in front deflected it away.
Again, no rush whatsoever. And if the Denver Broncos, and you see that outstanding play there by Mobley, but if the Broncos, Dick, have gotten away from one thing here in the second half, they're mounting no pass rush whatsoever. They're not really making Jon Kitna throw out of rhythm. He's getting to throw when he wants and to whom he wants.
Broncos like to be aggressive, bring a lot of linebackers, but with a big lead, they pulled off in that regard. Ooh, that seemed to be a play messed up, but Waters turns it into a first down to the 34-yard line as the quarterback and running back almost running into each other, and then Waters ramming forward for a first down.
Well, this was not, I think, the way that they spent time practicing this back in Seattle. Jon Kitna looks like he's looking one way, and all of a sudden there's Ricky Waters. But luckily for both those guys, the guys up front did an outstanding job of blocking.
1,000 yards for Waters, 6 consecutive years for the former Notre Dame star. Kitna, lots of time, guns it complete to Christian Fourier, and it's close. It will be just shy by a yard. 9 on the play to the 25 with plenty of time remaining, 11.5 minutes.
And I'll tell you something, Denver Broncos better start coming up, and Greg Robinson's going to have to find a way to pressure Jon Kitna. You can't allow a guy to just stand there and survey the field like that time after time.
No one within 5 yards of him.
Greg Robinson, you're looking at right there, the defensive coordinator, barring some sort of a pass rush from his front four, is going to have to take a chance and come with a blitz.
Hand off inside to the fullback, Max Strong, and he has another Seattle first down to the 22. Kavika Pittman, former Cowboy, with a tackle.
Good name for a fullback.
That back Strong.
And he's got the shoulder pads built up the way a fullback ought to have it built up. He's even got a hump and he's strong. Maybe they'll throw in shoulder pads. Maybe he's got his old traps built up that much. What do you think?
Those are fullback traps.
They should.
First down, Seattle trying to carve into the big Denver lead, and wide open is Waters to the 15 to the 11-yard line. Another 9 yards before Terrell Buckley can bring him down.
Well, is the glass half full or is it half empty? Is the Seattle offensive line doing the greatest job of pass protection in the history of the game? Or is Denver just no longer pass rushing? Because look at Jon Kitna. Boy, he is in the proverbial rocking chair back in the pocket. And if they stuff this baby in, all of a sudden a whole lot of folks here at Mile High move from the back to the front of their seat.
Well, he edged forward to the 11, and it's close enough for a measurement, although just a chain link short. Yeah, more than that, according to Mr. Luckett.
Let's go back and look at it again. And you know something? This is a carbon copy of just about every play we've seen so far here in the second half. Look at that. All 3 or 4 of the Bronco defensive linemen had never even got off the line of scrimmage. You're asking a lot of your linebackers and your DBs to cover guys for 5, 6, and 7 seconds.
So the kid from Puyallup, Washington, where he played for his dad, Brock Heward, the quarterback, watches as Jon Kitna takes the quarterback sneak and a first down. It'll be just inside the 10 and first and goal for the Seahawks and Mike Holmgren's team. And as we talked with the coach yesterday, he said we're 5-8, and like every coach, you can find that we should have won these 2 and not lost them. But he said my guys have played hard all year. We're gonna have money left over for free agents. We have 2 first-round picks next year. We're gonna be able to go out and get 5 more players.
Right. They had 2 number 1s this year. They're going to have, again, 2 next year. That's because they still will have Dallas's number 1 draft choice because of the Joey Galloway trade.
11th play of the drive and incomplete. And did that ball hit the back of an offensive lineman? Apparently not. Intended for Ricky Waters.
I think it hit the back of Ricky Waters.
Oh, it's second and goal.
I think John might be saying to Ricky, you know, Ricky, you'd really help me out maybe if you turned around. This screen is going to develop to the right side of our screen, and Ricky Waters never turned around to look back at his quarterback. That's a whiff by Ricky.
Almost a free interception for Eric Brown. Second and goal.
There's the blitz.
Flat. And into the end zone goes Darrell Jackson with a touchdown. The rookie from Florida has his 5th score of the year. He's a budding star for the Seahawks, and they're back in the game.
And Dick, remember we saw Darrell Jackson earlier in the game when he did not read the Denver blitz. Here comes the Denver blitz. He runs a hit. He just stops dead. He stops his pattern, just waits for the football because he reads the blitz, and he helps out his quarterback and gets a touchdown.
So Kitna, under no pressure from the Denver pass rush, able to maneuver his team downfield 68 yards. And now the extra point by Lindell, and the Seahawks with 9:21 remaining in the 4th are right back in it. It's a 7-point game. Darrell Jackson's 5th touchdown. That's most by any rookie wide receiver in the league this year, and he was the 15th wide receiver selected in the draft this season, the 80th player overall out of the University of Florida.
Well, you just mentioned something. You know, when you draft one of Steve Spurrier's receivers, you know you get a guy with some polish. He's been around a big-time passing game for a while.
Yeah, they know how to catch it. Low skidder into the wedge. Back out to the 30, the 35, and good field position. Detron Smith, the backup fullback, gives the Broncos good field position, but they now are in a position of protecting a 7-point lead, down from 21.
They opened the doors.
A sports television director's favorite shot. The steaming head of an offensive lineman in the cold.
Walter Jones.
And the Broncos wanting to protect the ball as Mike Anderson out to the 40, a pickup of 3. Isaiah Kazavinsky and Chad Brown make the tackle. There's Kazavinsky from Harvard. He was a 4th-round pick. We'll have more time next week in our game Saturday to give you his background. Incredible story. This man, he wanted to go to Notre Dame. They wouldn't take him, so on to Harvard, where he was 3 times an all-Ivy Leaguer. Anderson over 100 yards now with that last gain, and he gets it again. 5 more for Mike Anderson. Still thawing out, Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, after Frerotte led a comeback against San Diego from 17 down, his team has confidence that he can take them to victory here. And the way he's filled in for Greasy is impressive in and of itself, but you have to think about his situation. He's been a lifelong NFC guy, so he's had to learn all these new defenses. Plus, he's in an offense that's constantly changing each week with their passing formations. So he said, if you're going to make it here, you got to be pretty smart.
That's a good point, Bonnie. He said you have to be very intelligent to work in this system. There's the handoff to Rod Smith. And Smith, who lined up in the backfield against Seattle in the first game, out across the midfield stripe to the 49-yard line and a first down. Michael Sinclair made the tackle.
And Rod stayed in bounds, which kept the clock running, but unfortunately, Rod is hurt.
And when you see
this
other
stops the clock.
And the other players rush from Seattle to see how he is, it makes you wonder how serious this may be.
Let's take a...
Might have fallen on the ball.
Yeah, you can't say anything with the legs, but we'll find out after this.
Look at Rod Smith shaken up on that last carry, but apparently okay. On the sidelines as Gus Frerotte sets up Denver at the 49 of Seattle. Fake to Anderson and the bomb to McCaffrey, complete at the 8-yard line.
Well, there's a bit of a gambler's spirit. After 3 consecutive runs, give Denver a first down. On first down, they air it out for the big play, and it's steal on steal as it's Ed McCaffrey and Sean Springs. Springs giving him all sorts of a cushion, but look how Ed McCaffrey sold the post move to the middle. Boy, what a great job he did, and got Springs to take the one step to the middle he needed. And even though the ball was a little underthrown, Springs wasn't able to cover up enough ground to get to it.
7 catches for McCaffrey. He's over 100 yards. There's the fake on the reverse to Rod Smith, and Mike Anderson goes inside for a couple. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Boy, and that's the kind of play calling that really makes Denver so dangerous. Wouldn't you think that they just keep hammering away with Mike Anderson, run out the clock, grind it away? That just scares the you-know-what out of a defensive coordinator when you know a team is capable of being that daring in their play calling.
And it gives teams preparing for Denver extra work to do, too, doesn't it?
And as you saw there on the graphic, another big day for Mike Anderson.
He's over 100, so is McCaffrey receiving. Anderson, touchdown, his 2nd of the day. 8 touchdowns for Mike Anderson in 3 games. For most running backs, that's a season.
Mike Anderson making less than $200,000 a year with no incentive clauses in his contract for anything. He doesn't get an extra dollar on his contract because of the year he's having this year. And you know something? We asked him about it yesterday, and all he could talk about is how fortunate he is. Class act.
Elam adds another extra point, 63 yards, 6 plays, the payoff, 6 yards. Mike Anderson, touchdown.
Konnichiwa!
Konnichiwa!
Who's a biggie? Who's about ya?
Now you can learn how to say what's up in 36 different languages. Just visit Budweiser.com today and learn useful phrases like was ist los, que pasa. Instantly bond with your fellow man the world over.
Yo, telephone.
Hello?
Tava! Uzubuyi!
Konnichiwa!
The Canon Rebel 2000. When circumstances change, just turn the dial, and you'll turn a snapshot into a photograph. What the? So now you know how to stay in control.
Do you mind? Thank you.
The Rebel 2000 from Canon.
When you were sad and lonely. You know you want me. Back off, he's a killer.
CBS is sponsored by Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home. And by Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer.
It's one of the greatest three-game stretches in NFL history for Mike Anderson, the rookie. 562 yards and 8 touchdowns in 3 games for this 27-year-old. Played 2 years at Utah.
Hard to imagine, over 1,300 yards for the season. And Dick, he had 3 games, a 3-game stretch where Terrell Davis was playing, where he only had 29 yards.
Kickoff down to the 7. And here comes Charlie Rogers. And he's down at the 26-yard line and really hit hard.
Well, let's take a look at that touchdown one more time. Great blocking by the Denver offensive line. And you know what? It starts right. Here's Lenny Friedman, the left guard. Here's Jones, the left tackle. But watch Carswell right here. And I want you to watch Dwayne Carswell. He's going to get in right there, number 89. There he is right there. But watch, he starts a block, then he falls off to pick up a potential tackler for Mike Anderson. And that, that's just wonderful individual blocking, but it's also team blocking when a guy like Carswell comes off his first block and comes back and gets somebody else.
Now the Seahawks down by 14 again, go back to work. Kitna with him in a wide open. Jackson again, the touchdown maker to the 50, and he's all the way to the Denver.